Hi, this is Dr. Jonas Leibowitz, an endocrinologist with 30 years of experience, here to talk to you about alternatives to the hemoglobin A1C. Let's say you want to know what your hemoglobin A1C is, but you haven't seen your doctor in a while. You haven't drawn blood tests in a while. And maybe getting a home kit to do it is not available to you. But you want to get a rough idea where it is. So we can actually take sugar numbers, glucose numbers from the different testing devices that you may have, and at least estimate what we think an A1C would be had we measured it directly with the blood test that we normally do. So if you're a patient who has a device that you may wear in your arm that checks the sugar minute by minute, what we call a glucose sensor, you can take the averages there. A machine like that may give you an average of a 14-day period of time, a 30-day period of time, a 90-day period of time, and you can take those averages, usually for the longer periods of time, like 30 or 90 days, and you can say, well, if my sugar in that time frame, let's say averages 150, that's probably a hemoglobin A1C of 7%. And using that calculation, adding 30 points of sugar for every 1% of A1C. So if you average 180, it would be 8%, 210 would be 9%, 240 would be 10%, and going up or down by adding 30 gives you a rough idea. And that is fairly accurate. Another way to do it would be to check your sugar by fingerstick more frequently. We sometimes call it the 7-point glucose or sugar check, where you check your sugar before each meal, you check your sugar after 3 meals, and you check your sugar at bedtime. And if you take those 7 numbers, average them together into one number, that actually turned out to be a pretty reasonable estimate over what an A1C is, providing that it's a typical day of your life, a typical day of what you do, and a typical day of what you eat. So again, if those 7 numbers were 150, you can generally guesstimate that that patient may have an A1C of 7 if measured directly, and using that same calculation, if it was 180, 8%, if it was 210, 9%, and likewise.